We're here. We're here. As promised, we're watching Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. It's the Puckleheads. Marcus White, Conall McNeilis will be watching this game and talking about it as we watch it. Conall, I'm watching on a official verified stream, so I may be behind you in your reactions, but don't let that deter you. I've typically been behind you in a lot of ways.
Well, that's okay. I'm sitting down here in the basement, the Colts in New Jersey. You've been here a few times. So, Marcus, before we get to going with Game 2, which of course, the NHL can't do it right and can't start the game actually at 8 o'clock. We might as well, we'll start 30 minutes later because that obviously makes sense.
Absolutely.
Instead of just starting the game at 8:30. Game 1, as exciting of a excited of a hockey game, I guess I should say, I've watched in a long time. What do you think?
I think it was the game of the year, and it's absolutely classic NHL that they could not find a way to avoid that with Game 7 of the de facto NBA Finals between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. Now, I don't know all about the scheduling stuff, but what I do know is that the NBA Conference Finals schedule has been publicly available for a few weeks now. Certainly before the NHL Conference Finals wrapped up. I have absolutely no idea why they couldn't have just started it yesterday, played Game 2. I mean, they could have easily avoided the NBA, is what I'm trying to say, like for the start, because I think a lot of people missed the game of the year. I think the ratings, it was the highest rated Cup final since Blackhawks Tampa Bay, and
correct.
This is neither of these teams are original 6 teams. I think that speaks to how many people were watching in Vegas. So, and who knows how much bigger that number could have been if they had just not played it the same day as a great basketball game. That being said, what an awesome game. I think it's unfortunate that some of the negative aspects of the game overcrowded it. As I watched this trailer for some movie about a skyscraper with Lau from the Dark Knight. The crime boss at the end, he gives up all the guys. I guess he's like a quasi villain in this Dwayne Johnson I'm in a tall building movie.
I just saw an advertisement. I was walking through the movie theater. I didn't even go to the movies, but I was walking through the movie theater. It's connected to the mall the other day, and I saw just a big billboard of one of those just giant 3D cardboard cutouts of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson hanging from a skyscraper, and he's we'll sidetrack here briefly.
Yes, of course.
He's to me the Arnold Schwarzenegger of this generation.
Yes, I think that's a good take.
Probably not that talented, but well liked enough.
I think he's got I think The Rock's got legit talent, though.
I think he's got a little more. I think his acting. He's definitely developed. He's definitely gotten better. But he's just right now. This is his prime, and he's just capitalizing on any paycheck he can get. Which hell, man, sell out. I'm all about it. Who cares?
I think he's got great. What he does have, I think that I'm not sure if Schwarzenegger did, is I think The Rock has genuine comedic timing.
Well, I was gonna say is the comedic timing. I think The Rock's more action comedy, while Schwarzenegger, until he got to Kindergarten Cop, if you will, he was more just screaming and yelling and sweating and bullet. I just think of Predator or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So I just saw that ad and got distracted. Much like the viewing public got distracted from Game 1 of the Cup Final by going against Game 7 of the greatest team of our lifetimes with a chance of getting upset in the Golden State Warriors. Good game. It's unfortunate the officiating kind of overshadowed it. The cross check from Reeves was definitely blatant. And as well, you had Tom Wilson doing Tom Wilson things. I think Dave Lozo had a great piece about it. I want to say yesterday or today about basically how, for as good as Game 1 was, is why you stick around, and as bad as some of the other ancillary stuff was in Game 7 is why more fans don't stick around. With the bad hit from Wilson and the officiating that's kind of overshadowing it is, at its purest, at its distilled, it's a great on ice product, but there's unfortunately stuff that always seems to manage to get in the way here.
It's it's typical NHL, can't get their foot out of mouth. Real quick, Marcus, the Wilson hit with Marcia show there. What are your initial thoughts? I've seen.
I mean, I think he's full of it when he says that Marchessault shouldn't admire his pass and he was just finishing his check. The guy, he charged. I know it was called interference, but I think you just as well could have called that a charging penalty. He's picking up his stride. He sees a guy who looks vulnerable and he's trying to hit it. I wasn't surprised. I don't know if it was necessarily suspendable, but there's no way you can say that was a good hockey hit. Like they called the penalty. I think they made the right call on the ice. I think it was great that the officials had a conference about it and, talked about it and said, it would have been nice if they had seen the cross check on the Carlson goal. I'm a little surprised he didn't get like a game because, he has this history. And I think the NHL's, oh, well, he wasn't, and there may have been a, that Eller miss, like, given how they've called slashes during the year, that Lars Eller miss, am I alone in thinking that may or may not have been a slash?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. And I think, the Wilson hit,
it was bad. It was garbage. It should get out of the game. I'm not surprised he wasn't suspended.
I just thought it was so blatantly interference and so blatantly late. Like, it wasn't even close to anything.
Like, him saying he was finishing his check. Like, finishing your check for what? Like, the guy didn't have the puck. He didn't have it for a solid 2 or 3 seconds. Like,
yeah, it was. It doesn't make sense to me anymore. I don't know. The NHL just can't seem to make up his mind. Sorry, I'm slightly distracted because they're doing the intro right now, and
they're doing they've got the archers and stuff.
I'm curious what they're gonna do right now.
I'm very surprised I'm not surprised. I'm glad they didn't go with Washington DC iconography in the first.
That could have been somewhat controversial if they sliced the Washington Monument in half or something.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, I think this is all great. I think it's hilarious. I think it'd be better though if they told the fans, "Hey, get in your seat at 4:30," so people could watch. Like,
I'll say this from experience, being in Vegas, Marcus. Like 95% of the people were in their seats when that happened.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I'm just saying that just so that the NHL could actually start its games at 8 p.m. Eastern instead.
Yeah. Sorry, correct.
I love this, and this is great, but I would also love to see how many viewers are lost just by like the first 10 minutes of Jeremy Roenick and Mike Milbury talking about the game, and it doesn't look like the game's going to start, and they're like, well, I was going to give hockey a shot tonight, but it hasn't started yet, so I may as well watch something else. All right, it looks like he's challenging a Capital to a duel again.
Yeah, but there's a guy hanging from the crowd too.
Oh, yeah, it's like some Cirque du Soleil stuff.
Oh, they're going to launch something here.
Okay, yeah, I think your stream's ahead of mine.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I see the guy. Yeah, it's typical. I think because I'm watching online and not on a television, I'm about 7 to 10 seconds behind you. And like I said, I am watching a verified stream through a cable subscription. So
there you go. NBC Live, X Live Sports or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great app. I love this. Oh, here we go. How far do you think they're going to go with this, Marcus? As far as like,
I mean, this is basically what they did last time. They did like the same thing. They launched the catapult.
My question is, are they going to do this before every game in franchise history? Like in year 62, are they still going to be doing this?
Yes. I mean, look, I think they're like any organization. They're going to raise the game before the playoffs and during the playoffs. But I think they're always going to have the night fighting some representative of the other team. What I hope happens is that like they don't use like each year it's like a different storyline, right? Like this year you have the night and he cracks the ice. Like next year they should change the storyline up. I think so. The night maybe next time he has
they need some writers in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. You need to build a writer's room. Have a season-long plot that like rewards the fans that have been there all year, but like is easily accessible enough to for fans who haven't seen the previous iterations.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think that's the ideal. And now this time this is a new wrinkle. They've got what appears to be a a classical music selection.
Yeah, they got some violins, and I see a big bass and a viola. It looks like that was they're getting the string instruments out here.
Yes, and it's not a string quartet; it's more like a string like octet.
Like I was gonna say, there's at least 6 of them or something like that.
Yeah, we're doing the great Mike and the Mad Dog tradition of
yeah. Oh, Imagine Dragons
about what's on television and saying that we're not going to do play-by-play.
Imagine Dragons is now on the television. I can't say I know the Imagine Dragons very well.
I think that shows how well you know them because they're not called the Imagine Dragons; they're just called Imagine Dragons.
Oh, there you go. Are they from Vegas?
They are hashtag Vegas born.
Oh, okay. Well, at least they got that.
Like this is a I'll say they couldn't get these guys to do the All-Star game. I'll say that. They're too big.
Are they? Is Imagine Dragons that big?
I think of them as a big band. Like
pretty relevant. They had Little John at the first game, so hard to beat that.
Yeah, I mean they're certainly bigger than Kid Rock. The lead singer's got a Flurry shirt.
None of that stuff on. He's like kind of. Is he rapping a little bit here? He's like because they're like hip hop, like rock kind of like.
I wouldn't think of them as hip hop. I'm trying to think of the song by them that I liked. Is it even a? You know, I'm admittedly not familiar with their music. I just know they're like. Anytime you look at the Billboard charts, they're probably on there, like at any point, I guess. But like I said, they're a bigger get than Kid Rock. All right, it is 5:14 West Coast time, and it still looks like we're not going to have the puck drop anytime soon.
Oh yeah, 8:14 East Coast time. Look, I mean, I think conservatively at least 15 minutes.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, this is great. I just think you could show it during your pregame show at 4:30.
And to me, like, yeah, like if you weren't us, basically, if I turn this on,
you turn away.
Are people gained by having music before? Like, is that a big thing? I mean, outside of the Super Bowl halftime show,
I'll say this: this is how they should be handling if they're not going to have their games just start at 8 p.m. Eastern, this is how you should do it, by putting on like a show, like a cool performance, and not just having, Eddie O, Milbury, and Roenick give their takes. Like that's where I think people tune out when they're like, "Oh, it's studio. Okay, I don't need to watch this." I think if you see this stuff, you're like, "Oh, like this is part of the pregame." Like if people are like you mentioned the Super Bowl has a whole pregame performance element to it. Like I think that's fine. I think where you run the risk is the typical, like when it goes back to Washington. At this point in Washington, they're still going to be doing studio stuff. Because they got to clear these guys' band equipment off the ring.
Yeah, they got to do all sorts of crap here. They still got to do the national anthem. I mean, there's still a lot to go on here.
Yeah.
I really want to see these guys fall, though. No.
That'd be hilarious. They should have done this in skates, cowards.
Cowards. And then, I mean, that was pretty cool. They had I don't even know the boxing announcer come out and do the announcement.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, although I know what I heard today, Marcus. You're not allowed to say his quotes. You're not allowed to, technically speaking, and I'm going to say copyright. It's not mine. Sure. Let's get ready to rumble. He has copyrighted.
I'm not surprised.
So I was listening to a morning show the next day, Boomer and Geo, and they were talking about how they weren't allowed to say, they weren't allowed to say it on the air.
Get prepared to tumble. Well, it's like you can't say the name of the NCAA tournament.
You can't say Super Bowl.
You can't say the name of the the NCAA alliterative name for the NCAA for their basketball tournament that occurs in March. Spring craziness, as it were. You can't call it that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you cannot say the real. Yeah, you cannot say I was listening to a podcast during that time. And they're like, "Oh, well, we can't call it that. So, this is our spring craziness.
That's crazy.
It is. It's mad, if you will.
Almost to say it's madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost to say it's madness. Marcus, it looks like the players are finally coming out here. As we go back to game one, we both took Vegas. We both took Vegas in 7. Would you stay with that trend? Did you see?
Oh, yeah, I stand by. Especially that game could have gone either way. Like,
it was actually funny for 2 goalies who just had been pretty much lights out in the playoffs.
Yeah, they got lit up.
They got lit up in game 1 for the most part. It was kind of great to see.
Fleury scored an own goal.
Yeah, that was classic Fleury there. I mean, like, I shouldn't say classic Fleury, but I was having this discussion with my uncle and my dad the other day, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna generalize old white men in America, but they were talking about." They're like, "Oh, did you think Pittsburgh made a mistake?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Look," I'm like, "People, look." We talked about it in the last podcast. He was an average goaltender for the last, few years.
At best.
Maybe a slightly above average the last year and a half, but even that, I mean.
Yeah. But no one could have figured, oh, well, he was the backup last year with a 920 whatever. Like, that means he's going to do that the rest of his career.
Players on the ice, so that's good. Marcus, hot take prediction for the game?
I think this is going to be a blowout.
Caps like 5-1.
Yeah, I would say Caps, but I could see it either way. I don't think this is going to be as close of a game.
We haven't had a lot of overtime games in these playoffs.
Yeah, there were none in the conference finals. There's only been 10. There's only been 10 in the playoffs, and I want to say like a fifth of them came. I think Vegas played in 4 of them in the first 2 rounds. I want to say they played 2.
There was two overtime games against the Sharks, correct?
Yes, and I want to say there were another 2 against the Kings, but
at least 1 that I recall. Yeah.
Yeah, that one went the one where James Neal scored.
Yep. All right, so it looks like the anthems are about to start. 8:20 here on the anthem start. So they picked it up a little bit.
Speaking of James Neal, is he like? Because we used to talk about James Neal like the way we talk about Tom Wilson now. Have we just become numb to James Neal, or like has he like?
I think he cleaned his game up a little bit.
Or do you think it's just him like playing in Nashville and then in Vegas where he's flying off the radar?
Maybe, because I definitely don't watch him every night like as I used to, especially when he's in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
But from what I've seen, I just the way it happens, I tracked a lot of Vegas games this year, so I did watch a lot of them, and I think he's cleaned it up to an extent.
Okay,
he hasn't been suspended in a long time, at least, or need anybody on a train.
Right.
Yeah.
My stream just buffered, so I may be further behind you here. I'm liking the on ice cameraman skating, and it's a good touch on this broadcast.
There's a lot of camera guys on the ice. Jesus,
it's good. They're making it an event. This is good. Oh, a photographer kneeling on the ice during the national anthem. Too soon?
Nah, never too soon, man. I'll talk about that any day of the week. I think is there a fight like they do like the Jets flyover thing here? Like, doesn't it kind of lose its luster that you can't see them? Like, you're in an arena; it's not a football or baseball stadium where you're going over. It's like
you just hear a rumble, but you live in a part of the country where if you hear a rumble, you're like, is that an earthquake?
Seriously. All right, score prediction here, Marcus. I'm going to take the Capitals. I'm going to take Capitals 5-2.
Yeah, I was going to say 4-1 Caps.
I think the Caps.
I'm just seeing the Jets now, so I'm a little bit behind you.
Okay, that's fair.
But that's okay. That's fine.
What is the mascot again? He's a Gila lizard or Gila monster, right?
Yeah, Gilla, something like that. Don't they have like two mascots though? Like the night guy before, and then they got the Gilla monster.
Yeah, and then they have the Gila monster guy.
He's cute.
All right, I won't give the NHL card. 8:22. It looks like it's about to start here for me. Puck drop.
Yep.
I'm
That's
more live
than the other night when it was 8:26.
Oh, jeez. All right, puck is drops. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the cranking now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I might refresh my stream.
Yeah, give it a shot. You might pick it up a little bit.
Okay, stand by.
There's a whistle already, so
I'm gonna mute my camera, but not my microphone.
Turn my mic on.
All right, Randy Couture. I just saw crank the thing.
Marcus, I know you'll be shocked, but Mike Francesa does not like the pregame stuff in Vegas.
Oh, of course. I'm stunned.
Yeah, absolutely stunned.
I've never been more surprised at anything done by a professional sports talker in my life. Yeah, that's asinine. And it's great that Mike Francesa is a please like my sport guy when he's like doesn't follow the sport.
Oh, he had what's his name? I told you the other day, Davo.
Duva.
Duva, yeah, which is a pretty cool interview.
Did they talk at all about him working with the Crunch?
They did. I mean, he talked pretty extensively about that. I probably caught the interview 30% in, but I mean,
it is a great story. I mean, he was a professor of mine at Syracuse. He worked went to Syracuse, then he went to Fordham for grad school.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure he talked about Marty Glickman in the interview.
Yep.
That's the Marty Glickman path. And did he use the words "consider the listener" in the interview? Do you recall?
I do not recall.
Because if he did, it's a big piece of Glickman's philosophy that's influenced Duva. But yeah, no, he worked for like the Trenton Thunder, I want to say, in the ECHL.
Trenton Titans.
Trenton Titans, excuse me. Thunder's the baseball team, right?
Thunder's the baseball teams, yeah.
So he worked with the Titans, then he worked with the Crunch, and was, basically, from what people were saying, he was pretty much next in line for whatever NHL radio job was going to open up, and then it happened to be the Knights, and now he's calling a game in the Cup Final. He was in San Jose. I didn't get a chance to cross paths with him.
That'd been nice.
I should have sent him an email, but I figured he wasn't using a whatever his SYR or at Syracuse Crunch contact email was when he was our adjunct professor.
You did see Joe Michel-Eddy though.
Oh yeah, I did. Joe Michel-Eddy was walking through the annals of the of SAP Center, and I texted Conall immediately. I'm like, just saw Joe Michel-Eddy. Michel spelled like sickle, like a hammer and sickle.
How's your stream, Marcus?
Good. I'm seeing Tom Wilson now.
All right, so you're a little bit behind me still.
Yeah. But I think less behind you than I was when I was.
Yeah, no, you definitely sped up. That was only a few seconds back.
Yeah, it's just classic NHL to say, oh, he wasn't suspended because it wasn't a head hit and he wasn't concussed. But I shouldn't be surprised that a league that, denies the existence of CTE doesn't understand that you don't have to get hit in the head to have a concussion.
You think Bettman has some burner accounts, Marcus?
Oh my God.
He's just circling.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a great question. I'd say he's one of the likeliest people around the game to have a burner account for sure.
He definitely has a burner account.
Yeah, who do you think is most likely to have a burner account associated with the game in any way?
Oh my goodness. Did you just see that Oshie chance? Have you seen it yet?
Not yet.
All right, it should be coming up for you in a second. Burner accounts. Don Cherry definitely has a burner account.
Oh, well, he might be too old, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Cherry, I would say.
Yeah, I just saw the.
I'm sure all the GM. You saw that Oshie chance here.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he gets a shout off. I'm seeing the replay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of the GMs are following the Colangelo thing. Like, there was a, watching around, because for those who don't know what we're talking about, the Ringer got a tip and then basically did some great reporting and found 5 accounts that may or may not belong to Sixers general manager Brian Colangelo, and they were used to may or may not have been used to defend his own honor as general manager of the Sixers. And the most damning thing is potentially leaking classified information about trades and stuff. Like, he had a tweet a month before the NBA draft last year that basically indicated that they were gonna trade up for Markelle Fultz at number 1.
Was he claiming to be a fan or like an inside source?
Yeah, just and he the only thing he'd said in one of the accounts was that he worked with Brian Colangelo, and he was very, very defensive about Brian Colangelo's callers for whatever reason. I think I'm almost certain that some of them have burner accounts, at least to monitor what's being said about them and what's being said about their teams, or what, in the player's case, what's being said about them. It's just, I mean, there's other ways to do that without having a burner account. Like, you could just make a private Twitter list that no one can access. Which is the amazing thing about all this, is that, like, the only reason these things get discovered, like, when KD had a burner account, or he accidentally liked a photo, or this Colangelo thing, is just, people not. And look, most people don't know how to make Twitter lists, but, like, if you're a power user of Twitter, like, you should know how to make, just make a private list. No one else is gonna read it. Like, you're fine.
A little Googling, like figure out the features of Twitter.
Yeah, but instead you're like, oh, I'm gonna make these burner accounts, and like the fact that account was public and not locked. Like, I get it. You want to have a method to, like, vent your frustrations, but, like, I don't know, use a diary or something, journal.
Write it, man. Go see a therapist.
I'm just not surprised. Like Wojnarowski had a tweet like, oh, I can't believe they jeopardize it like that. And then I saw other tweets that were like, just because someone has a title doesn't mean that they're not going to make stupid decisions. Like, yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought Joel Embiid was hilarious about it. There was one tweet that may or may not have been sarcastic from Ryan Whitney of Spittin' Chicklets that was like, oh, an NHL GM would say it to your face. One of our friends thought it was sarcastic, but I'm not willing to.
I do listen to Spittin' Chicklets, and I am a fan of them. I don't think they do have some funny interviews. They're more candid.
I'm not willing to think, though, that that's a sarcastic tweet as much as it is a please like my sport thing.
It's a little bit of that. I just don't. To be completely honest, I just don't think Whitney's smart enough to look around it. So
right.
He's kind of just a goofball. So he's definitely doing it for just like some causing controversy, but I think he definitely at least partially believes that. That's
what I'm getting. Like, he thinks there's some truth to it, which, like, nah, man. Like,
he's animated about not being a basketball fan on the podcast. So
yeah, there you go. Which is, that's fine, but the NHL is never going to surpass the NBA unless you get over that. But what do I know? I think this is an interesting, thought exercise while we're watching this. The NBA Finals, we get part 4 of Cavs Warriors. First time that's ever happened in NBA history. 4 straight years of the same finals matchup. Like, as one-sided as it may potentially be, like, this is something you and I, people of our age, are going to look back on as we're older. Like, wow, like, we really saw, like, the greatest player of his generation play the greatest team 4 years in a row. Like, how lucky, kind of a thing. We're in the NHL, we have a first-time matchup. We're going to have a first-time champion this time around. As a hypothetical exercise, like, what do you think is better for the sport, so to speak?
Well, we've talked about in the past is that NHL parity is a little exaggerated when you talk about the teams that have won in the salary cap era, how many times the Penguins have been there, the Red Wings in the early years, and then obviously the Blackhawks and Kings having their little run.
Yep.
I could argue both ways. I think for this year, it's great to grow some new fans with the Vegas story and maybe even a little bit of the Cap stories. They were almost, I don't want to say the lovable losers, but like, the team that is like, oh, typical Caps, can't get it done. The team everybody loved to rip on a little bit.
Sure.
As far as the other perspective, I think you truly create the success of the NBA, and I think the success of a lot of sports comes with, I don't want to this come off the wrong way, but enemies or having bad guys
in the 80s, then Lakers Pistons in the 80s.
Exactly. Like having those rivalries, you know, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Like that's the one I think of as far as everyone hates them. Why do they hate them? Because they're good. And so when you have these teams that are constantly there, so pretty much everyone is, hates the Warriors if you're a diehard for another team, but like at the same time you want to be them and you're gonna watch because you're either hoping LeBron loses again, or you're hoping that the Warriors lose again.
Right.
I could probably argue both ways. I think from an outsider standpoint, I enjoy watching the NBA playoffs as a non-fan. I sort of associate with the Knicks, but I don't really care that much. I happen to like LeBron James, so I root for him. I will say that, for me, my mindset is always especially in this era, is I never understood why a lot of people get worked up with the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics had some injuries, but do you really think your team's going
to 4 first-round picks in their starting 5, and 3 of them were taken in the top 3 of a draft? So, let's not act like they're the rough and, we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps.
I know. My point being is that I just feel like there's a lot of I feel like at least in the NHL, you at least have, maybe it's a good thing or bad thing, you at least have the illusion that your team has a chance to win the Stanley Cup.
Sure.
In the NBA, I remember, a few years ago in college, and I bet one of my roommates, he was convinced, he's like, even LeBron was still in the Heat, he's like, there's no way that he goes, the Heat aren't even making the NBA Finals this year. I bet him $100 that they would. I said they would win. You could take the field, and he gave me a little bit of odds or something like that. And I think they lost in the NBA Finals that year. I think that was 14. But regardless, just to me, I find it very predictable. But
yeah. I don't think
they have great stars, but to me, I'm not a basketball fan. I'm not going to say I know anything about basketball, but I damn well knew that it was going to be Warriors Cavs again this year. When they were questioning LeBron, I had no doubt in my mind that's what was going to happen.
I think part of the fun is the journey, and I think you could argue, people want to make the Kevin Durant ruined basketball thing. Like, the Rockets showed that last series that this Warriors team is vulnerable. Does that mean this Cavs team is going to take advantage of it? Probably not, but
Cavs are plus 725, by the way, in the series. I put $10 on them saying screw it.
Yeah, why not? Like, I don't know. I think for me, the journey's more fun than the destination. And like, I don't know. I think you made a.
Oh, well, I ruined. Someone scored. I won't ruin it.
Hey, no, that's fine.
We can talk about it once they.
Sure, yeah, but I just think that I keep getting things. My stream is just it's whatever. The journey is, it's not the journey's more fun than the destination, but like, let me rephrase. I think you made a great point about the illusion of your team having a chance to win the Stanley Cup, because I think, there he is. We talked about him before.
Oh boy.
There he is.
He's going to get paid this summer.
Yeah. Because I think in a lot of ways it is an illusion, because what we've seen, even though there's a cap league, every team's got the same, third, fourth liners essentially, and the same, third pairing defensemen. But like the teams with the top end talent are the ones that win. Yeah. So we're seeing a replay of the goal. Orlov probably shouldn't have played that with his glove.
Yeah, it was kind of an awkward spot, but he just kind of whiffed on it with his glove, for that matter.
Yeah.
Marcus, if there's any team in the sport who could create a super team in hockey, it's got to be Vegas, right?
Yeah.
They got a chance to.
Well,
in theory, this summer,
that keeps James Neal on the strip.
They could have James Neal, they could have John Tavares and Van Riemsdyk and Carlson. That's not even a joke. They could pull that off.
And they'd still have room.
I got Cap Friendly up right now. They have, as of right now, that's with this season, they have 24 minutes. They're going to have so much cap space.
If I'm Foley, I do it. Like,
no, the best part though is with them, like their cap space for next year is going to be crazy because they have so many contracts coming off the books.
Yeah,
that's the key to it. Nate Schmidt's going to get paid though.
They got the space to do it.
They got to sign Marc-Andre Fleury too.
Or you just.
Oh no! Sorry, you know what? I'm messing that up. Sorry, that's there. The Cap Friendly already moved up to next season because
he's eligible to sign an extension, though, right?
Yeah, he can sign an extension. Free agents are Neal, William Karlsson's an RFA, Grabowski, David Perron, Ryan Reeves. No second carrier RFAs. Leipzig, Stoner, UFAs, Miller, and Theodore RFAs. So, like, you got to think a couple of those guys are going to get some good raises, though.
Even then, they're still going to have a ton of space.
This is still incredible. The Vegas Golden Knights next year will also be paying Derek Brassard $2 million.
That's right. Yep. James Neal has a nice ginger beard. I noticed.
He does have a ginger beard.
Before we went to commercial, it's amazing that the Knights always just seem to find a way to score first at home. Not that scoring first is it's not the end all be all, but they continue to find a way to do it. It's kind of remarkable. So the Golden Knights lead 1-0 as we continue this great experiment of the Puckleheads variety. Marcus White, Conor McNeilis. We're watching at least part of Game 2. Hopefully, we're able to watch the first 2 periods or so. It feels like a very even game so far. It doesn't really feel like either team has a huge edge. Would not say the Capitals are out of it by any stretch of the imagination here in this game.
No, not at all. I mean, it's still a 1-goal game, but Vegas has got 8-3 in shots here. They definitely had a nice push here of late, as we've seen it. To me, I still will say this, man. It's going to be the reason I just think it's going to be so tough as hell for the Capitals in this series is that just winning in Vegas. This home crowd advantage. I mean, in recent years, you haven't really seen it as much in hockey, but man, Vegas seems to get it. And they're only 12-3 or 13-3 now, I guess, in the playoffs or whatever it might be. Yep. I mean, just have not lost much. They're on such a hot streak. To me, this is you don't want to say it's a series right now, and they say you don't lose, you're not out of it till you lose at home. But going down 2-0 to Vegas here would be very tough. You got to steal. You got to steal a series in Vegas. You got to steal a game in Vegas, and you rather have to do it earlier than have be down 3-1 in Game 5 and have to win that one or something.
Right. And Conall, as you know, the old cliche says a series hasn't started until a team wins on the road. So, if the Caps don't win tonight, this series will still not have officially started.
I don't. Where does that come from? 11-1.
I'm aping Stu Gatz on the Levitard show because that's a long cliche. And anytime they're playing a series and a team hasn't won on the road yet, they're like, Dan, series hasn't started yet. So on Tuesday, post Game 7, Stu Gatz dropped, Dan, that series started and ended on the same night. Team finally won a road game.
Oh, what a bounce. By the way, Vegas 11-1 when scoring first in the playoffs. That just came up.
I believe their one loss was to the Sharks, I think. Game 2 of the second round. That means they've played 17 games this postseason, including tonight, or entering tonight, they'd scored first in 80% of their games.
That'll help.
It's kind of absurd.
Oh my God. I don't know if you see it, Marcus. There is a group of gentlemen right next to the Capitals. I'm going to assume they're all gentlemen. Maybe I shouldn't assume. All next to the Capitals bench. 2 rows full, probably around
Elvis's,
all dressed as Elvis.
Overdue, I think.
Yeah, where's it? Vegas loves Fleury. Vegas loves Fleury. They're all holding it. Yeah, a bunch of people dressed as Elvis. That's awesome. Oh, that hurt.
Oh, yeah.
You see that Wilson hit?
Oh, I guess not. Oh, no, looks like it's coming. God, he always just finds a way, man.
Ovechkin reacted pretty nicely there. Oh.
So here's an interesting hypothetical. Let's say you have a guy like Tom Wilson on your roster. He is a good player. You look at his underlying metrics.
He's a decent hockey player.
He's turned into a good player, which, you look at his junior numbers, you might not necessarily expect. Is someone like him worth the headache? Or is he one of those guys that he's just good enough where he's going to keep his own team and other teams crawling back to him, even though he can't change his ways.
I think you'll always have the old school guys who love a guy like Tom Wilson. And I'm not saying I don't. I think there's definitely some merit into him. But I mean, if he starts building a reputation where he's just getting suspended, you know, if you're paying a guy, you're paying him to hopefully play all 82 games. And if he starts, you know, getting suspended, I mean, actually, he's played 82 games twice. It's pretty incredible.
That's an absurd statistic.
I know. It actually is pretty incredible. You wonder now he's kind of building a name for himself a little bit. This was his 5th full season in the NHL. 2012 draft pick. Actually a first round draft pick, which is kind of incredible. 16th overall.
Wow.
Why the hell did they take
he was the first round pick because he was big. And he had like 30 points in his draft year.
I know. Pretty much he just was big and bulky, so they drafted him. Is he worth the headache? I mean, listen, he's having a great playoffs. I mean, I think for now he still hasn't done anything absurd, but I mean, look, he's definitely found his mojo this year. But I mean, you know, before this, the guy, I mean, you know, he's definitely, you know, it helps. Look, so we talk about playing time. He's definitely gotten a lot more playing time, which has helped, especially this season. And, you know, playing with a guy like Alex Ovechkin helps once in a while.
And a guy like Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, yeah, I mean, his draft year, he had 27 points in 49 games in the OHL. He had 141 penalty minutes, and he was somehow a first-round draft pick. I don't understand.
I can tell you the numbers why he was a first-round draft pick. 6'4",
230 pounds. Yeah. Is it Canadian?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a Toronto boy.
Yeah.
And that's another reason he'll be defended until the end of the year.
I was going to say, he's a good old Canadian boy.
Specifically being from Toronto, if you're an Ontario boy, you'll get that benefit of the doubt. Yeah, you don't feel bad if things get spoiled. That's fine. Don't.
Oh, for me?
Yeah. If you spoil,
right, cool. You're cool.
This is not a us in Sochi situation. Us watching Sochi situation. Infamously, when we watched the TJ Sochi game, we were watching with a friend who refused to watch. We were in the middle of rural Pennsylvania, and they refused to watch the game on the same speed as us. So they watched their own stream, which ended up being ahead of our television. And
we watched it on Drew's computer. They didn't have NBC.
That's right.
So we watched it on the computer
because he refused to let us use his device to.
Yeah, and so to
stream his thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We were maybe like 15 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we were 40 minutes behind.
And we were all 15 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Except for him. The person will remain
I was going to say, we're going to throw him under the bus?
No, they will remain nameless.
We definitely mentioned him on the show before. We love the guy, but...
Yeah, he's a great kid. We just don't want to, Vegas, yeah, they do such a good job. I don't know how to quantify it, but they just do such a good job in the neutral zone. Just like their forecheck is relentless, and they're so good cycling back to the Ovi. Little classic. What do you think if Ovi doesn't score here in game 2? Who's going to write the column saying that Ovi had an overrated postseason?
Who's the guy? Ken Campbell's always a good nomination for Hockey News. He's always right up there. You would say Larry Brooks, but Larry Brooks has just turned a great page.
He's turned the corner.
Larry Brooks is now my best friend.
Wow! Congratulations.
Me and Larry, yeah.
God, they just showed the replay of Ovechkin's shot in the slot. Man, that guy's got such a good release.
Yeah, you get to see it too. Oh, there's more Elvises behind the net. That's good.
Yeah, I think that everybody should be dressed as Elvis.
I was gonna say you gotta have an Elvis night. Everyone dresses as Elvis.
Yeah. Glad they got Vrana in the lineup. I like him a lot. He's a good player.
Who's that?
But Burakovsky's playing too. It's amazing they scratched him at all. And he scored 2 goals in game 6.
Burakovsky's your classic, like, second, third line tweener with sick hands, but because of that, like he's so good offensively, he might not be.
People are like, oh, he should be a top line guy.
They think he should be a top player, or they think like, oh, we need like a more responsible third line player.
He's like Nikolai Zherda, not as extreme.
Nikolai Zherda, there's a name.
Guy with all the skill in the world, but because like he's not able to produce as a first liner, it's like his fault or whatever.
Rangers didn't even qualify Nikolai Zherda. How stupid is that?
Very dumb.
Oh God.
I don't know what you're seeing here too is just think about how many guys what you're seeing with Vegas, especially how many guys in the NHL like flamed out just because they weren't given the right opportunity. Like it's like any other field in that sense, but like especially in a sport that's supposedly like merit based, like I don't think we give enough props to how much the nurture matters more than the nature. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and the NHL is so guilty of that.
Yeah, a lot of dead air here. My apologies.
No, you're fine.
I'm apologizing to the listeners, Conall.
Oh, well, you know.
If they're rewatching this. Derek Englund. Well, I just saw Derek Englund, so, and it's going to commercial now, or maybe commercial for you, all right? I think this is an interesting hypothetical. Whose story is the most absurd on the Golden Knights?
That is a great question.
That they're like that's having a good year. Like who is the most like the one where you throw your hands up the most? Like it's hockey. Like,
I mean, you could argue that because goaltending is so random that this playoffs is just crazy with Fleury, but then the whole season, I mean. Derek Englund somehow became like a competent like number 4 defenseman.
Right.
Or is it William Karlsson going from a 6 goal year last year to a 3
right.
goal? I mean, it just shows you how ludicrous it is and how almost random it is. I don't know if you listen. I
almost think that it's Lucas Spiza, like being Lucas Spiza emerging as this like trusted, like reliable defenseman to Gerard Gallant when he's just like. He's a guy who's never like, he's played 80 games in a season once. And I think that was on a team that missed the playoffs. Like, yeah, that was the Boudreaux Ducks where he just cobbled together a lineup that turned into it. Yeah, he played 82 games last year by mistake. He had more points this year, Lucas Spiza, in 30 games than he did last year at 82. I'm looking up Wild Bill right now to see his ice time because I think so much of the guy's averaging 5 minutes more a night this year than he did last year. That doesn't make up a 37 goal difference, but you shoot.
It helps
23.4%. God, he shot 7.7% for his career in Columbus.
And he's shooting 23.4. He shot 23.4% for Vegas.
Do you think he halves it next year, or do you think he shoots a third of that?
I think he shoots like 10.5%.
Okay, so that would still be his second best full season mark.
Yeah, no, I still think I think he's fine. He's a great player. A lot to ask. He's also shooting 15.6% in the playoffs this year.
23.4. It's amazing. It's just like guys would put that up with regularity when players didn't know how to butterfly.
Who's got the highest shooting percentage in NHL history? Like minimum. I wonder if there's a way to regulate that. Like minimum.
Yeah, I can do it on Hockey Reference. Give me the qualifiers. Minimum 200 shots.
Yeah, first give me season. Like minimum 200 shots. I like that. And then I want like career. I think it's actually I know the answer. I know the answer to career, I believe.
So I'm gonna do modern era, so 67 to 68. You cool with that?
That's
or
fine.
Do you want to go newer?
We're doing a live Puckleheads podcast if you're gonna jump in here.
What's going on, Marcus?
So there's Andrew Pender jumping in. Where is he? Oh, he's running away.
What's going on, bud?
Not much. We're just enjoying this hockey game through the wonders of the internet and the magic of technology.
8:52.
Oh, that's what we're doing. We've pretty much have been doing Mike Francesa impersonations the entire time.
You're right.
Craig Simpson, I believe, has the best shot shooting percentage in NHL history.
Craig, is he the guy who was the color commentator on one of the NHL games?
The old NHL games, yeah, with Jim Houston. So
I'm looking up modern era.
All right, I'm pretty sure I'm right. His career shooting percentage, Marcus, is 23.7.
That's career?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's right around. So the best single season, minimum 200 shots, Yari Curry, 28.8.
That's what year was that?
85-86. For reference, none of the top 26 took place in the 1990s.
Oh, it was all 70s or 80s when no one knew how to do anything.
The top in the 90s was Pat LaFontaine, 91-92.
Yeah, Craig Simpson, I mean, he never had over 200 shots. In 87-80, 88, starting the year with Pittsburgh and then going over to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers, he had 177 shots. He had a 31.6 shooting percentage. Not even his best year, by the way. In 87-80, I know that was his total, but he actually finished it that year 36.4 for the.
Actually, I don't know if Carlson had 200 shots this year, so hold on. He might have like 190, I think. Yeah, he was at 184. Okay, I'll adjust this to 150.
I was gonna say maybe do 150 shots because 200 shots is actually kind of tough.
Curry's still the number one, I think.
That's incredible.
Single season, 28.8.
And is Craig Simpson number one all time? I think he is.
I'm looking at single season. I'm not looking at career. Actually, no, yeah. So Craig Simpson, number 2 all time in a single season, 31.6. Number 1, Charlie Simmer, 32.7.
Charlie Simmer, what year did he play?
1980-81.
Jeez.
All right, so let's see where Wild Bill ranks. Ray Ferraro, number 12. 91-92. Ray Ferraro had a 26.
Ray Ferraro had like 800 NHL points. Ray Ferraro was a pretty good player.
All right, so 150. So William Karlsson has the highest single season shooting percentage of any player after. Let me look.
Yeah, Craig, by the way, I was right. Craig Simpson is number 1.
William Karlsson has the highest shooting percentage of any player since 1993 in a single season. I'm not kidding.
And folks, it's not because they were better. It's because no one knew how to play goaltending. Yo, Marcus, I am looking at the all-time leaders.
For career?
Yeah, and there is nobody. You know, the closest you can get to a modern era was, and this is only because the guy never shot the puck.
Tanguay?
His number 21 is Alex Tanguay, who for his career at 18.6. I mean, the guy literally just didn't shoot the puck.
Looks like we got some 4-on-4 action.
Think about this. In his first year in his NHL career, in 99-2000, this is, by the way, a guy who put up 51 points as a rookie, as a 20-year-old in the Colorado Avalanche. That's pretty impressive. He only shot the puck 74 times in 76 games. Like, for a top 6 forward.
Nuts. Good player, though. I'd have taken him on my team if I was a GM.
He's a very good player. I mean, he's, you know.
Can he still play?
No, I mean, he only retired, 15-16 was his last year. I mean,
Look, 35 points in 70 games. It is a 35-year-old, a 36-year-old. It's not bad.
He's the closest. There's no one else even close to on this list.
Did he had so many years above 20%?
Yeah,
he had
the puck, and he had a high shooting percentage.
His lowest in a season was 11% with the Tampa Bay Lightning in
Marcus,
2010.
the first active player on this list is number 68. That's almost nice, and it's Steven Stamkos, who shoots at 16.67.
That doesn't surprise me. I would have expected Stamkos or Ovechkin.
The next closest, a little delayed reaction here, but Lars Eller just put one in the back of the net 4-on-4.
He makes up for game 1.
Yeah, he looks happy. Next guy on the list, Marcus, 104, Brad Marchand, 15.85.
Wow, I would not have expected Marchand that high.
Do you think 127 is the next active player, and it's Adam Henrique.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty passing sequence.
Slot line pass, man. No shot.
That is a vintage SU roller hockey 4-on-4 passing sequence right there.
Who finishes that? Kolzig? Eric?
Oh, yeah. One of those two for sure.
They look kind of like a Kolzig shot, just like behind him a little bit and just kind of throws it in.
Like somehow like the absurd reach to like, yeah, exactly. Just whips it. Heck of a pass too. Was that Kempney? Yeah, that's a heck of a play. That's pretty. Conall would be happy to know I had 2 assists last night, one of which a pass off pads.
Nice low hard shot.
Low hard, kicked out right to the guy driving the slot. That's the American dream.
Pender would like to know if Imagine Dragons opened your game for you.
No, we had a 80s Billy Joel cover band.
Only strictly 80s Joel.
Strictly
80s Joel. 80s doo-wop Joel. Play piano, man. All right, so the Caps get their goal. That means
1-1, huge goal for them. Still 4-on-4 here.
It was Kempney who got the assist.
Yes, you're correct.
Once again, I am right in my analysis.
That was close. All right, Marcus. Top 10 NHL active players in shooting percentage. Now that we're on,
we know Stamkos is 1, Marchand 2.
So here you had the first 3. So Stamkos, Marchand, and Henrique. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 more guys here on this list.
Is Patrick Marleau in the top 10?
He is not, but one of your other buddies is in the top 10 because he doesn't shoot the puck.
Is it Joe Thornton?
Joe Thornton is number 10.
I was gonna guess it's Joe Thornton in the top 10. Oh my god!
Because he doesn't shoot the puck. I mean,
he had like a 23% shooting percentage this year too before he got hurt.
So Thornton is 10.
Okay. Is Ovi in the top 10?
Ovi is not. Ovechkin is. Marleau is 21, by the way. Ovechkin is. I don't even know where the hell Ovechkin is. Not very close to this. He's nowhere to be found. He's not even in the top 50 active NHLers. It looks like.
Right.
He just shoots the puck a lot. All right, go ahead. Give me a couple of your other guesses. See how we do. Chris Kreider, number 36.
I would not have guessed him.
He's number 36, Chris Kreider. Not number 6, 36.
Number 10. Top 10 shooting percentage. I feel like a guy like Nicholas Backstrom's going to be there. Like, he doesn't shoot a ton, but, like, he's got a good shot.
Not quite. By the way, this is career, by the way, not just one.
Career, yeah, no, I know.
You know. So
Crosby?
Crosby's number 6.
Okay.
14.46.
Malkin?
No, just outside, number 12.
Kessel?
No. By the way, speaking of quick, have you heard about these Kessel and Sullivan issues?
Yeah, we should talk about that. Talk about that now. Yeah, sure.
Let's touch on them real quick and we can come back to the shooting percentage here. Sure. So if you haven't seen, folks, there was an Athletic article that was the most specific one about it, talking about some issues that apparently started before this season, Marcus, about Phil Kessel's, mostly about playing time and how, especially after the Brassard trade, he almost had, I don't know the exact number, but very limited time spent with Malkin. He felt he should have been playing with Malkin. He's usually with Brassard.
Really, he didn't like being on that third line. He didn't like.
He thought he should be up there. Thought his power play opportunities kind of got dwindled, so he was not happy with his ice time. Him and Sullivan apparently have had issues for about a year. I'm going to pull up the article just so I could actually source some things here like a proper journalist.
Sure.
See if I could find this. Yep, here it is. So this is by Josh Yo, Marcus. Yep. Yohe. And there's just, by the way, just I'll ruin it for you, Marcus. End of period 1-1 here in Vegas.
Okay.
1-1 here in Vegas. Yeah, a lot of bad relationship. Apparently, this has started pretty much last summer. And they want to be on the same page. I guess Kessel was close with Tocchet, but not as close as Sullivan, all this stuff.
I do remember there were some concerns when Tocchet left that the Kessel whisperer was gone.
Yeah. So here's what they can tell you according to the sources. Kessel is furious that he wasn't deployed regularly on a line. Once again, Josh Yo of The Athletic gets full credit here, guys.
Sure.
He was not happy with his deployment, especially in the playoffs. He spent most of his time skating with either Sheehan or Brassard, and Kessel felt he was unproductive because of this. And Sullivan claims he was, being selfish. Said he was pouty. Finish the game, meaningless game. Kessel, blah, blah. Kessel's not the problem. Is it an idea? We're probably not. So, yeah. So, apparently him and Sullivan has some issues, and there's talk that he could possibly, nothing guaranteed, nothing set in stone, but possibly be on the outs there in.
Well, that's really interesting because him playing on the third line is typically what gives them that the advantage they've had over the last couple of years, right? And it was with Nick Bonino and Carl Hagelin. They formed the famed HBK line. Yep. Were those his most common line mates last year? I'm gonna look it up.
Hagelin was injured a bunch this past year, so I'm gonna say no.
I meant let's see, last year 2016-17.
Oh yes, probably yes.
I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm on Corsica looking at the lines.
Just for the record, Marcus, Phil Kessel still has a 6.8 cap hit for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons. And I believe that's still with the $1 million being picked up by
1.2 by the
Leafs, right?
Yeah. So because the Leafs are retaining salary, does that mean that the Penguins themselves cannot retain salary?
No, a player's contract can be retained up to twice by 2 different teams.
Okay.
Yep. I know this from my NHL GM mode.
I mean, look, if you're a team who wants a scorer, though, you'd rather have Kessel at 6.8 for 4 years than Bobby Ryan at 7.5 for 4.
Almost, most certainly. I mean, to think about it, I mean, Phil Kessel had 92 points this year. I mean, think about that. I mean,
he wasn't as productive this year.
I mean, I'll say this: if you're going to trade him, you're the Penguins. This is the year to do it. I mean, listen, not to once again, these are people, but you got to treat some of these. If you're a businessman, you got to treat them as assets to an extent.
His most common line mates last year were Carl Hagelin and Nick Bonino.
All right, so there you go. I guess he wasn't happy. I guess he got separated a decent amount in the playoffs. There, they split things up.
His most common center this year in the regular season was Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah, so I guess once the Brassard trade happened, they kind of split that up a little bit. That's the big argument. Listen, you got 2 cups out of him. I mean, he had some good runs. I mean, if you wanted to sell high, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Who do you think of as a fit for him?
Yeah, certainly going to hypotheticals. You got to think of a team that's, Oh, sorry. This is the Vegas cap friendly page. Sorry, I was looking at.
I was going to say they'd be a nice fit for Phil Kessel.
I was going to say Vegas could be a nice fit. I mean, don't have a ton of cap space here if you're the Penguins. Although it sounds like the cap is definitely going to go up. Their blue line is pretty much set. You got to think they're looking to retain some younger assets. Maybe get if they're trading with a draft, they don't have a first-round draft pick right now. Maybe they try to get a couple draft picks back and a younger prospect for Kessel. Still a lot to move for a guy who came off a 92-point year, but you could try to sell high and really king's ransom on somebody. You got to have a team that's going to be willing to take on the rest of that salary, even if I can't imagine Pittsburgh eating too much. But Vegas could be a fit. As we look, I'm going to check out some other the cap friendly page here real quick. Yeah, I think Vegas could be a nice fit.
Sorry.
Yeah, Vegas can be a nice fit, Marcus. I mean, if you're looking at teams who could be absolutely desperate to do something, if the Islanders wanted to try to keep John Tavares and could somehow pull in Phil Kessel, that'd be a nice move. Another team, teams with cap space here. Colorado has a ton of cap space, and they're quietly a team that could have a really big offseason. I mean, if you want to be realistic, they could quietly make a pitch at John Tavares. I really see James Van Riemsdyk being a fit there if they wanted to, but could be another team right here.
Can you imagine Kessel playing with Nathan McKinnon?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You get something like that. I mean, Kessel speed and McKinnon just churning the wheels. I mean, man, that McKinnon contract, by the way, is slowly turning, might be the best contract in the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
He is 22.
With a ton of space that has brought on disgruntled wingers before. The New Jersey Devils.
Devils could be a fit there. I think they're going to have the cap space. I think it depends on what the moves are. I think, once again, my only, teams like the Devils, I think your only issue is you got to assume, what do you want in return for Phil Kessel? Because to me, I'm still in a win now mode with Malkin and Crosby there. I'm not giving up Phil Kessel for, a couple futures. I want something that's at least going to be, you need a roster player right now. I think you got to decide who that's going to be from the Devils. At least a young guy who's got a chance to crack the roster next year. And if there's one thing the Devils are missing is a real top end. Obviously, you're not touching Heischer. I mean,
no.
They had some nice moves here this year. Bratt was a nice addition for them. Outside of that, kind of a mix and match of teams. Would they move Pavel Zacha? Could be a guy. I mean, you would have to me, if I'm the Penguins, you got to at least ask for somebody back in return there. But Zacha still, as a former first-round pick, hasn't done a ton for them. 24 points, 25 points in his first 2 seasons.
What about a Toronto reunion?
No shot in hell. I mean, Phil Kessel also has a modified no trade, I believe. If I'm Phil Kessel, I wouldn't go anywhere near.
Yeah, certainly not without your favorite hot dog stand.
Well, maybe he wants to reunite with them then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, modified no trade. It looks like he's got an 8-team trade list he could submit.
He's going to be a player he's going to have less options than he should this summer in the trade market. He's a player that's going to have a reputation, and there's not going to be as much interest as you'd think.
He got 92 points last year, man. Hell, he could figure it the hell out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right.
Does a team like, I mean, it would be baffling to bring in another older player there. Does a team like Chicago find a way to make some moves?
If they've got a bigger contract, are you going to do Kessel for Seabrook? Does either team do that?
No, I wouldn't. I sure as hell wouldn't do that if I was the Penguins.
No.
There have been rumblings I've heard from, a couple podcasts I'm listening to. I was Craig Houston's talking with somebody, and I'm trying to think who it was. I would like to give them credit, but they talked about how Stan Bowman still feels they're in win now mode. This season was kind of a lost season. They did get another first round pick from Nashville, which is nice. They got 2/3, but they could be trying a bunch of things to make some runs at some people. Although, how are they going to free up
cap space than the Penguins?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to free up cap space. I mean,
Penguins are in decent shape, though. They've got 17 guys under contract, and they're going to have about $10 million in space. They're not.
Penguins aren't screwed. No, Penguins aren't screwed.
But if you get rid of Kessel, that makes you if you get rid of him at the draft, that certainly makes them a Tavares possibility.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God.
Ha!
Sorry, I'm just thinking about that.
I'd go there if I was him.
Oh my God.
Short-term deal, sign a 3-year deal, $10 million a year.
John Tavares, if you're listening, just please go out west. Just get away from me. I would like to watch highlights of you on YouTube. What
about Tampa?
For Tavares?
No, for Kessel.
Does Tampa have the space? I mean, Tampa's also a team that. Listen, we talked about it, and I'm not saying because after next year they have so many contracts off the books, but sure. You don't want to say they blew it here, but I don't know. Some of these guys could just opt to leave and get paid huge contracts elsewhere.
Yeah, McDonough and Strawman both are looking like they're going to headline.
After next season, Kucherov's an RFA. Yanni Gord, Braden Point, RFA. JT Miller's an RFA this year, so is Paquette. And then pretty much their whole blue line, McDonough, Strawman, Coburn, and Dan Girardi are all UFAs after next season.
Yeah. The vital Dan Girardi.
Oh, Dan.
So yeah, there's. I mean, I think Colorado sounds like to me like a good fit for him. A younger team. He's going to make them a lot better instantly. They probably have enough young pieces that'll interest the Penguins. Maybe they send back Colin Wilson and like a first-round pick because Wilson didn't have a great year this year for the Avs rather. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at there's teams that don't have as much cap space as they should. Maybe Pete Chiarelli wants to reunite with Phil Kessel.
Oh my God, can you imagine that? Well, the other thing to consider, Marcus, is Daly, Bill Daly, pretty much he's the deputy commissioner of the NHL. Everybody, he's you ever see obviously you guys know Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, large with just an extremely round head. It's pretty remarkable. One of the roundest heads I've ever seen. That it's going to go up to they're pretty much confirming that it's going to go up to at least $78 million, and highest projections could be $82 million. I mean, that would be.
Yeah. Well, they projected that in December.
Yeah, but it's pretty much been confirmed as far as recent reports are going, which is good for GMs. Some players will get paid more, and of course that'll probably help lead to the next lockout.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, just so they can
guarantee it
back down. But that being said, it's going to help a lot of teams out, especially those teams up against the cap here. Looking at the Penguins cap situation, I mean, they'll have some space for sure.
If it goes up to $80 million, they're going to have about $10 million in space.
Got to pay Kuhnhackl. Let's see. Riley Sheehan's an RFA. The big one is next year. Jake Gensel's an RFA. He's going to get
Crosby Whisperer 2.0.
That's right. He's Chris Kunitz reincarnated.
Yeah, is he going to get a spot on the 2022 Olympic team? Because
that's right.
Except he'll make the U.S. Olympic team.
He's American, so he won't make it.
No, but the USA Hockey will name him that because he played well with Crosby.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. Yeah. Pittsburgh's an interesting situation. I mean, that core up there is all north of 30 now. I mean, obviously Sidney Crosby and Malkin are still elite players. What did Patrick Hornquist do this year? I mean,
he had a nice little year.
Yeah, that contract's not great though. He signed for 5 more years at 5.3 with a no trade clause.
Oh, woof.
That is not a great contract.
Yeah, if I was a I don't know. It's easy to say when you don't have the personal biases attached in years of relationship, but you got to think these GMs, when they win, should be a little less loyal to some of the guys that are on their cup-winning teams. Like you send Patrick Hornquist on his way and say thank you for your service, as opposed to re-signing him to that deal.
Oh, absolutely. I think the candidate that could really see himself. If they're going to move anybody, like as far as an easier contract to move, I think the Carl Hagelin contract could probably get moved. I think 1 year left, $4 million.
Need to burn.
Could still be
retain the salary and not kill yourself.
Yeah, he's a fine player. You're not gonna get killed over it. Any trade, I think you could probably get a decent return for him. I think that's if you needed to move somebody, and he's a free agent next year, so it's not the end of it. But if you needed cap space this summer. To me, he's the one to move.
A return to the Rangers, perhaps.
They could do it this year because, I don't think they're going to do anything crazy. I mean, but I really have no interest in Carl Hagelin. I'd rather just sign Michael Grabner to cheaper, and he's a little bit better goal scorer.
Oh, that's right. Michael Grabner, a New Jersey Devil.
Yeah, it was a great trade for the Rangers. They got a second-round pick and a prospect, and Michael Grabner was scratched in games 4 or 5 of the first-round series.
Gotta love it.
That's
another high shooting percentage guy I would have guessed.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, let's get back to the shooting percentage here. So Just to have a little fun before the first period, probably starting here in another.
He had 36 points this year, 27 of which were goals.
Oh yeah, he's just dude. That's all he is. I mean, he is just a goal scorer. I mean, he really doesn't have good hands. He's just so fast. I just developed. Let's see. So we had Stamkos, Marchand, Henrique. You had Crosby at 6. You had Jumbo at 10. So that leaves 4 and 5, and then 7, 8, and 9 active NHLers.
Patrick Kane.
No, but his buddy's there.
Taves?
Hayes at number 9, 14%.
Wow. Wow. Okay. 14%. I would not have guessed that. Okay.
Number 9. So you got 4, 5, 7, 8. You're doing a pretty good job, actually. I'm impressed.
Any defensemen on this list?
No defenseman on this list.
Makes sense. Active players. Huh.
I'll give you some hints.
Please do. Yeah, I'm lost.
Yeah, sure. One is a guy who seemingly gets traded every year at the trade deadline.
Oh, Thomas Vanek.
Yeah, he's number 8.
Yeah.
14.27. Number 7 was this year's MVP for most of the year.
Taylor Hall.
Not quite.
McKinnon?
No.
Kopitar?
Nope. He was the MVP for most of the year until he fell off towards the end, just like this team did.
Oh, God. Barzal.
Nope.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Kucherov.
Oh, Cooch. Yeah, I should have known that.
And then the other 2, I don't know if you'll get at 4 and 5.
Give me the teams.
I'm not even sure which team this guy's playing on now. Hold on. No, he didn't get traded. Okay. So one is a friend of John Tavares.
Eberle.
What's that?
Eberle.
An older friend of John Tavares. He's been there longer. I don't know if you know him. He's such a
it's Anders Lee or Josh Bailey.
Yeah, Anders Lee.
Yeah, Anders Lee's a guy who scored like 20 goals a year. And you're like, how? And you're like, oh, he's got a 90 shooting percentage.
Yeah. His career is 14.6. His best shooting percentage. I mean, this year he shot nearly 20% this year. So guy had 40 goals and 22 assists. So there you go. That's your classic. And then the last one, the last guy, my hint to you would be he's very boring.
I already guessed Sid.
Younger than Sid.
McDavid?
No, but right part of the country.
Johnny Gaudreau.
Right team, different player.
Oh, it's not Sam Bennett, is it?
No, it's the other one that starts with an S.
Oh, God, who is it? Sven Baertschi, no.
No, not quite.
Oh, God, very boring.
Twitter account with boring in front of it, and then it's his...
Sean Monahan.
Sean Monahan. So there's your top 10.
Okay.
It's not bad. I mean, not bad.
I feel pretty good. Now,
Sean Monahan's pretty good. I mean, Sean Monahan took 200 shots this year and still had a 15 shooting percentage.
Yeah, he's not a bad player.
Sean Monahan he's gonna put 60 points up every year until he's 32. Like that's what he's
weird. That's a weird team too. That Flames team, man.
Oh, that's a bizarre team.
Especially if they trade Dougie Hamilton. Like it's gonna be funny when they do that. When they trade him for peanuts. I don't trust. I've learned not to trust a Bill Peters team.
Yeah, I guess not. That's kind of weird. Then they go out and get Bill Peters, like pretty much like within hours of him being fired.
Right. Very odd indeed. We're seeing some, at least we were seeing some conference champions merch as we got period number 2 coming underway. You know, pretty good player in Sean Monahan, who should be feeling pretty good headed into the second period.
Team name.
That was a question. That was a segue question. Who should feel
sorry,
good?
I did not hear.
That's fine.
What was it?
Who should feel heading into this period? Washington or Vegas?
Has Vegas felt bad about themselves all year? So like,
Even if they lose the series, I don't think they can feel bad.
They're like, screw it. Who cares? It's just hockey. Yeah, hard to pick against Vegas. I mean, I think both teams play, but I think, you can say recent goal bias a little bit, but I'm not a big momentum guy.
Momentum exists in physics, not sports.
I like that. I'm going to steal that line.
Yeah. Oh, please do. He's playing a role for the Vegas Golden Knights, and I just saw his, he's on the ice right now. Nate Schmidt was a guy I think a lot of people recognized was going to be a good player for the Caps. And apparently there was a report that the Caps tried to trade him, reacquire him after the expansion draft, but Vegas pretty much drove a hard bargain. You think if the Caps have to do it over, they give him a little something to take Grubauer? Or what do you think? Because, if Grubauer doesn't play the way he does this year, they might not make the play up,
If you said that to me last year in June or July, I would have said yes. But if without Grubauer, the team might actually they wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
Argue that. But I'm always in the camp. I mean, I'll take players over a backup goalie any day of the week. So you'd like to think they could go out and get a backup goalie somewhere that at least is competent enough and maybe different circumstances. Maybe if they had better defense in front of them and an Nate Schmidt, maybe hope he doesn't play as bad, and who knows. I'll always take the position player rather than a backup goaltender for sure.
Especially defenseman. Especially when you're probably going to lose John Carlson.
He's as good as gone.
I mean, once they re-signed Oshie instead of Marcus Johansson and who else did they let walk last year? Johansson.
Oh, jeez. Did you see this Orpik hit? Are you still
there? Not quite, I don't think. Oh yeah, no, I saw it. Yeah, that's a penalty.
The replay's ugly.
It happened to James Neal too. Brooks Orpik, another ginger beard guy.
There's a lot of ginger beards.
A little more muted on the ginger beard, but still. Ooh, yikes! Yeah, that's
kind of tough to see what hit him. His shoulder.
Yeah, it looks like shoulder to jaw.
I will say the Vegas Golden Knights jerseys have really grown on me.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those whites, man.
The white gloves are always.
Oh, I'm a huge fan with the gold fingertips. I think it's a.
Yo, James Neal might have completely sold this penalty.
He looks to be in some pain on the bench.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe not sell it, but he's got his hand up, and it's actually the impact of his glove hitting his face rather than the shoulder.
Sure.
And now James Neal is chirping. Of course, I know nothing about that. I've never done that before.
No, never. You were always a very respectful opponent. We never had Conall and I in all our years playing together never had an instance where we were told that we were swearing too much and we had to cut it out. Not once.
Yeah, not once, multiple times.
He's got great teeth, James Neal.
They're probably fake, to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You understand, majority of these hockey players have fake teeth.
Oh yeah.
By the way, just reports coming out. It sounds like Kuznetsov is questionable return. He looked like he injured his arm or shoulder in the first period.
That is a gigantic. If he's out
right now, if he's done for this game, they're in trouble. If he's done either for any extended length of time, there's no shot now. He's been probably their best player in the playoffs. I mean, he's been unbelievable.
You made the argument for sure.
Oh, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
PF Nasty, of course, or Carson Wentz.
Yeah, all the W's from. We get it. The Eagles won the Super Bowl.
We get it. All right, calm down, Philadelphia. Drew Monster said, "Remember that 411 bowl from Lock Haven?" Yeah, fuck that kid. He says. Who was that? Barnaby, the little tiny kid?
No, Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert. Lockhaven. I hate you guys.
I think he had 3 wheels on his skates because they were so small. That's mostly a joke.
That's mostly a joke.
Do you remember that bull? Yeah, of course I do. Forgive, never forget. Forgive, never forget.
That's right. First power play of the game. Obviously went to Vegas there. Do not score a goal on it. So pretty big kill. Didn't really have a lot of chances there. I had a couple chances from the outside. Nothing substantial. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a grinded out.
That's just I shouldn't say. I mean, this game has been fairly open, but you would think the goaltenders sort of figure it out. You think the teams feel each other out and definitely play a little bit more conservatively than they would in the first game. Where
when in doubt with NHL teams, think that they're going to play conservative.
Just play passive.
Yeah. Like if the result is in question, they're never going to take a chance.
Nah.
That's why it was refreshing to see Orlov try and bat a puck out of the air. He's turned into a nice defenseman for him.
Well, Orlov, they were just talking about him. Maybe hasn't had the best start to this game, but Orlov is basically one of the guys where they kind of had a debate between keeping Orlov and Schmidt. That was kind of one of the big debates for the Capitals.
Sure.
Like you said, hindsight's 20/20. You wonder if they threw a 3rd-round pick for them to take Grubauer, would they have done it, so to speak?
I mean, based on what Vegas did in the expansion draft, it seems like they were willing to take any and all bribes to take a player.
Pretty much. Marcus, I don't know if you read the reports at all. It's over 100 degrees today in Las Vegas, out in the desert there, and they talked about the ice conditions being pretty terrible in Game 1.
Yeah.
Do you think? Oh Jesus! Sorry, Ovechkin just destroyed somebody in the middle of the ice. He's okay, I think.
Looks like with.
Listen, I don't think I noticed it that much, but maybe it made it harder for goaltenders. But they did talk about the ice conditions out in the desert a bunch.
I'm used to seeing bad ice this late in the playoffs. Especially where I'm from, the teams usually watching. It's the West Coast teams, the Pacific teams.
I mean, Madison Square Garden notoriously has atrocious ice. So
I think these places get warm in the summer, and the longer you play into June, that's going to happen. That being said, Monday night didn't look that abnormal. I mean, sure, the puck was on edge a little more, but I mean, it didn't seem like it. It didn't seem like guys weren't like flubbing every pass. You know what I mean? Like, sure, it maybe picked up on edge or rolled a couple times, but it didn't seem abnormal to me. I'm gonna refresh my stream. Hold on a second.
Well, folks watching live here, obviously you just saw Alex Tuck taking that cross-checking penalty on John Carlson. So John Carlson defending the front of the net again, like he did with Ryan Reeves. This time they call it. Capitals to their first power play of this game at 14:47 here in the second period. So, 5-on-5, you might give the slight edge to Vegas. As far as power play, you got to hope this is where the Caps could take advantage. You look for Ovechkin to score here. We'll see what happens.
That was very good and succinct. I am back now. Took off my sweatshirt.
Pierre is talking about the cross check right now. So,
thanks, Pierre.
Thanks, Pierre. Got that going for us.
We got that going for us. You see, apparently somebody said before the last game that, or maybe it was after the last game, that Pittsburgh was wishing they kept Ryan Reeves because he scored that goal.
I mean, it's the same people wondering if they should have kept Fleury or something like that. I mean, just come on, guys. Ryan, listen, good for you know what? The funny thing about the people who are the anti-analytics people, they're like, oh, Ovechkin score
from The Office.
Pretty much, a little lower than he usually is, but
he expanded The Office this time around.
Are you live with me now? You're pretty close.
No, I'm just guessing.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen Ovi score yet.
Okay, my bad.
I just see him nonchalantly back again. Why would you leave this guy anywhere close to open on a power play? I mean, Kyle, you could touch on it as a coach. Like, if you were playing a guy like Ovechkin, would you just play 4-on-3 basically?
I mean, to me, I would. I asked this question to Scott Gomez, and I want to give him credit. The Quinnipiac head coach. Let me double check on his name.
Was this in Syracuse? Was this at a coaching?
No, this is a different time. Rand Pecknold's. It was at actually before I got my job with Clearside Analytics with Steve Alliquette. It was his conference where I wound up getting that job. But I asked them this question, and they both said that you can't, and they both told me the guy you should do it to is Backstrom. So they said it runs through him, and I was a little skeptical of that answer. I have single-handedly watched Alex Ovechkin just destroy the Rangers and for years and years and years. And I don't know. I get it. You have to protect certain areas, but you'd wonder. I would have to test out that theory a little bit, run it through practice, and see what I
wonder if you could get away with shutting off a guy and running what is essentially a 4-on-3, basically. Like, I wonder if you'd be less likely to allow a goal, because you see teams shade towards him, but you never see teams say, okay, you're playing man on man with this guy, we're gonna run a triangle, basically.
Yeah, I think it's tough because you're still shorthanded. But I think if you had a compact and a rational enough group, I think you can pull it off. I think
you need guys who can skate, and you need guys who have hockey
IQ. A very fast penalty kill, and who are going to be able to take up this passing lane still.
Yeah. And I mean, now is not the time to try it, but I think that'd be something I'd want to experiment with.
I would definitely like to experiment with it if I was a coach. I mean, to me,
just to see,
No, of course.
And part of me wonders too is how much is going to be especially if you bring it out as a surprise, not a consistent look, but an occasional look, how much the element of surprise would throw off teams that are basically, okay, now you're practicing 4-on-3. I don't think a lot of teams are practicing a 4-on-3 power play.
Yeah, it's true. I think that's a factor you should probably consider. I don't know. Hasn't been done, and Ovechkin's made his living there. So
I mean, I'd do it to Washington's, and I'd do it to Tampa's power play for sure.
And
I'd probably do it to San Jose's with with Brent Burns on the point, basically.
Yeah, I think a little tougher on the point, only because you'll then suck a guy up, and they'll have basically the entire at least where Ovechkin usually is. I think it's a little bit easier to do, but
yeah, because you're basically if you do it with Ovi, you're basically taking away that side of the ice.
That's my point. You're pretty much limiting the team to that. I mean, if you put a guy who's fast enough,
which puts you in favor, even if you are down to 4-on-3, because they have less space to work with.
I would think so. I think it'd be interesting. I would definitely force a team to adjust.
I don't think a team will ever experiment with it, though. Meeting
it's the NHL. Come on.
Yeah. What was the last major tactical evolution, the cross ice pass? Because analytics show that that's the most valuable scoring chances if you get the goalie moving.
Of course, slot line passes, man. Royal Road. That being said, I was going to say this with Reeves before the Ovechkin goal.
Yes, we sidetracked.
The anti-analytics community, they're like, oh, look at Reeves getting it done. I'm like, he's getting it done because he's playing hockey. His Corsi last game was almost, it was 54, 55%. I saw something like that.
Look, he came in game 6 against the Sharks on that fourth line. That fourth line dominated the Sharks, and yes, they were playing physically, but they were playing physically with the puck. They had the puck the whole time, and they were playing a great puck control game. They weren't out. It's not because they were out hitting the Sharks. It's because they had the puck on their stick the whole time. He's been part of a really good fourth line for them.
He's been good, and he's been playing he's been a good hockey player, and he's been using your body to retrieve the puck or to shield the puck and protect it. When he gets below the dots or below the hash marks, really, I mean,
you can't move him.
It's tough to move him, so he's going to possess the puck. Oh, jeez, let's call them both of them.
Oh, Ovi. And like they're definitely shading over towards him, but man,
Are you just seeing that goal?
just seeing that replay.
Oh, replay. That's right.
Man, Ovi looks like 20 years older than he is.
Yeah, he's aged for sure. He's pretty much openly gray, which is great.
He's openly gray. Isn't that your band name?
That's our like 45 and older band name one day. Me and Devil's Insider, Kevin Wynn Stanley, and others. Openly gray.
It's a great name. This is a pretty needless penalty, I think. Did they call it?
Do you think Holla dove? I think they called them both.
I mean, I think that's. I wouldn't say that's a dive.
Unless they call it interference on them.
I respect Ovi too as someone who doesn't hike up the visor. That really annoys me.
I'm such a hike up the visor guy.
That really annoys me when guys do it. It's just
I do it so badly.
Your eyes.
Yeah, I do it so badly.
Do you play no visor?
No, I play with a visor, but I
certainly. It?
But my mom waving hello here. Mrs. McNeil is joining on the Puckleheads live broadcast. Yeah, I definitely sometimes sometimes I just do it like during the game when I'm getting hot, but then I'll pull it back down, and then like it'll just kind of like go up like without me intentionally doing it. But
sure. I mean, it'll never happen because the toxic masculinity of the sport, but like they should all be wearing cages.
Yeah, it'll probably take another 30 years at least.
Yeah, if not a half century.
Yeah,
if we're still around at that point.
At least we got visors. A fun trivia question will be who's going to be the last guy, just like Craig McTavish was the last guy to play without a helmet all the way up until 1998, folks.
Yeah.
That's, kind of crazy. Who's the last guy going to be who doesn't wear a visor?
I don't know I think Reeves is the only guy in this series who doesn't have one.
The answer is in all likelihood, depending on how his career goes, is Ryan O'Reilly with Buffalo.
Yeah.
He's only 26, despite looking 37.
And playing like he's 37.
Yeah, he has not. So that's the same. Maybe his career gets derailed a little bit. He doesn't have a visor, and he's fairly young. He's getting old, and he's had a lot of injuries, but Dubinsky's another guy who doesn't wear a visor.
Buyout candidate, potentially, this summer.
Yeah, he's a buyout candidate, so I don't know how long his career is going to last. Ryan Reeves here. How old is Ryan Reeves? Ryan Reeves got to be.
I'm guessing he's 29.
31. Yeah. All right. So there you go. So, I mean, he's a possibility, but, how much longer does he have? Who knows?
Like, no one on Vegas. I mean, he's the only guy in Vegas.
He's the only guy in the series for sure.
I'm trying to think on teams I've seen play. Getzlaff is still going, no visor.
Yeah, Getzlaff's another possibility.
Joe Thornton has no visor, but you got to think he only has 2 or 3 more years left. Derek Englund, doesn't have a visor.
Really?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the replay right now. I'm looking at him right now, yeah.
Amazing that it's been all Vegas this period, but Braden Holtby. Inside the glass with Pierre Maguire. Ovi's got an underrated beard.
I mean, it's pretty thick.
Like he's always had good, like in the latter stage of his career, he's had a thick beard and like no one talks about him with one of the best beards. Meanwhile, I forget to shave for a day and my face is itchy like I've been doing all broadcast.
It's been like a while.
Yeah, I hate when my face is itchy. Talking only the hard-hitting questions on this live watch.
No way.
Vegas?
Marcus, I'm not even going to ruin it for you because the guy who just scored is going to make you laugh.
Derek Englund?
Not quite. Even worse.
Spiza?
Not even. It's not for Vegas. Oh my, Marcus.
Whoa! Was that?
Hold on.
It was?
That was Brooks Orpik. Yeah, but wait till you see the replay. This definitely, we just talked about the ice, Marcus. This absolutely has to do with the ice. Wait till you see this puck bounce. Oh, it hit the post. Okay, that makes me feel better. The first replay made it look like it just took a right turn.
That is a heck of a zone entry. Oh, yeah, I mean, it bounced.
At first, I thought it didn't hit the post, the first replay show, but no, it actually did.
Who did it bounce off of, though? That's the question.
One of the, yeah, I'm not sure.
That is Lars Zeller's having himself a game tonight. Looks like it hit Connolly or Tuck in front.
Yeah. It deflected off somebody, whoever that defender was.
Yeah, because I thought it was like, oh, Orpik shot it, and then it bounced into the ground, like defying physics, basically. San Francisco, California board, Brooks Orpik.
That's right. We'll get back to the visor stuff in a second. Oh, that is brutal, right to the jaw, Tom Wilson. Oof.
Gotta say our prediction is looking good here.
Yeah, well, we both had cast by a few. Of course, I didn't bet it, but whatever.
Who would you have better odds on that it was going to be? If you had bet puck line, it would have been what? That Vegas by 1.5 was favored.
So I would have just put money line probably on the Caps is what I should have done, but it's all right. Other guys without a visor real quick, and then we got a question from PF Nasty again.
Yes.
Jamie Benn and Jordy Benn both don't have visors.
Who does that?
Jamie and Jordy Benn.
Okay.
Lucic. Brian Boyle.
Jamie's got to hope that he doesn't get penalized for that in the future because I know he doesn't like the box.
I'd never seen it until you mentioned that to me. But and then Matt Martin. But these are guys who I don't think are gonna have. I don't think these guys are gonna have long enough careers at this point.
Jamie Benn's a good candidate to be the last one.
Jamie Benn could get it. How old is Jamie Benn? Jamie Benn's close to 30 though. He's 28. He'll be 29 in July.
I think he's going to last longer than Ryan O'Reilly, though.
Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly just happens to be a little younger. He's like a year younger. So, actually, she's a year and a half younger. So, I think it's one of those two guys, Jamie Benn or Ryan O'Reilly. We will know. PF Nasty wants to know if any of us played the NHL 18 3-on-3 version. I have. It's a lot of fun. I like playing with the mascots in that, though, because it's chaos. It's like the old NCAA football games you can play with the mascots, which is always fun. It's kind of fun.
I haven't played an EA Sports game I haven't bought an EA Sports game in 5 years.
I have just the NHL. I didn't even get this year's FIFA. I used to be a huge FIFA. FIFA was a great in like college though. I used to play so much FIFA. It was a great like dorm room game.
Yeah.
Get FIFA. So and now that I'm not, not in college. Oh, Ryan Reeves did get a penalty on that, Marcus. So it looks like another power play for the Caps.
They're making very good on my prediction here.
Yeah, we're looking smart.
Even though the Caps are getting, Corsied. Ooh, yeah, that's bad. And he like reflexively did. That's the thing. Like, if Ryan Reeves is hitting Tom Wilson up out, those are both massive guys. Like,
oh, that would hurt. Getting hit in the face by Ryan Reeves, I think I'd be dead.
Yeah, I probably would. I don't want to say I've been on the Lars Eller bandwagon my whole Caps watching career, but when they got him, I remember thinking, that's a smart acquisition.
He's a solid little player.
Ooh, Backstrom.
See that pass? It was unbelievable.
He is a very good player. I don't want to do the over or underrated because I think that's boring, but you can have an interesting debate about that. Same with John Carlson. But
yeah, Carlson's more of an interesting candidate. I mean, Backstrom's a future Hall of Famer.
You think I think the Avs may be the best fit for Johnny.
For Carlson, I mean, the Avs could be a very interesting team this year. Hell, I think they could get Carlson and they can get Van Riemsdyk. Oh,
God, what if they got Carlson and they?
Oh, that's a penalty shot. Call it.
Wow.
Penalty shot. Have some balls, Chris Rooney.
Did they point to it?
No, he hasn't pointed yet.
Looks like I'm going to get it on my feed here in a couple seconds.
It's close. Oh, then Holtby gets drilled.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it just might be. Probably should be. Former Shark Ryan Carpenter.
There's another guy.
Yeah, it is 0% shooting percentage in San Jose this season. He gets to Vegas, he's shooting 18%.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, I think you gotta give him the shot, right?
I'm all about being aggressive, man. I think they should give out more. You want to increase scoring, give out a penalty shot right there. Like, come on.
Yeah, Holtby, that did not look good for his glove hand. Whoa! Yeah, Braden, I every passing game I become convinced Braden Holtby, top 5 goalie.
He's awesome, dude. He's awesome. He's a really, really great player.
Bounced back nicely from a bad regular season.
You don't want to say that's goaltending, but goaltending is just so bizarre.
Yeah, it is. I think it's the toughest to.
We keep trying to measure it, and like we're getting better. I always say Kat Silverman's a great follow on Twitter, guys. She does some great analytical work as far as goaltending breakdowns, but it is still very tough.
Yeah.
There's a guy like Holtby, who I strongly consider like a top 3 goalie in the NHL.
Sure.
And he had a just terrible season.
I mean, I would say top. I undersold it earlier. I think I'm now back on the Holtby top 3 bandwagon, if not Holtby best goalie in the league bandwagon. This
Holtby, listen, I think Holtby's definitely right there. He's there for the discussion.
But I think part of that is, I don't want to say self-explanatory, but think about it. If you're talking goaltending, let's say you're talking about a 3 goalie depth chart for the NHL. You're talking the spread is 1 through 90. Whereas if you're talking about a forward, or let's just say you're talking about a center, the spread is, let's say, I don't know, 1 through 120 minimum, or now 1 through 124. Like, and if you're just talking starters and backups, or hell, you're just talking starters, like, you're going 1 through 30. Like, that's such a tight spread that it shouldn't be so surprising that, sometimes guys will have good years and sometimes guys will have bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting because, there's no equivalent of a 4th line goalie. Like,
no, there's not.
Yeah, it's a weird position, man. You also have to be crazy to do it.
You do.
And I think you have to be just as crazy to try and evaluate it.
Who's more crazy, me or defenseman?
Chief, y'all blocked the shot.
Chief, y'all blocked the shot to defenseman, right? They don't have the goalie gear.
I love how he calls him Chief. That's just peak Briz.
We need him on an NHL broadcast.
Yes. Oh my God. Overdue, frankly.
Typical NHL though. We listen to frickin' Milbury and Jonesy and all these idiots. But I'm not saying it's the same level, but you have some characters in the NBA, Chuck and Shaq and all those guys.
Oh, yeah. And Inside the NBA is the best television show for sports.
Give me an Inside the NBA version of NHL. Give me Brizgalov. I'm trying to think of some other characters you could probably put in there.
Well, and I don't know why it is.
Jack Gomez would have been great, but he was on NHL Network a little bit, but now he's coached with the Islanders. He's another one.
That's the thing that's like I don't get about like hockey and basketball. The disconnect is like, we know that hockey players chirp each other, but like they're not willing to do it on camera. Whereas basketball players, like whatever they say on camera is probably like the tame version of what they said on.
Yeah, no mercy. There's absolutely no mercy.
Like in hockey, we'd never get a player mistakenly calling another player Drew Bledsoe and the player who mistakenly called another player Drew Bledsoe wearing a New England Patriots Drew Bledsoe jersey to a game. Like, we'd never have that. That's why the NBA is great.
When did the NBA get rid of like the dress code rule?
Within the last 5 years, I think.
I was gonna say because they they didn't have it in the early 2000s,
or maybe they still have it, but it's been loosened. Like,
yeah, but like I was gonna say, like how can he like show up in a jersey? Because
well,
then for a while it used to be crazy, and then they went to suits, and then they've kind of gotten away from that.
I think as long as you're wearing a suit jacket and on the bench, you're fine.
Okay.
Like if you're and it doesn't matter. I'd have to look it up though. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I'll look it up right now. Actually, I don't want to get that wrong.
Oh.
And I'm just curious more than anything. So they instituted this in 2005. Yeah, so I think this all technically falls within the rules, but I don't know. I'm a big fan, but like we'd never get Donovan Mitchell wearing a jacket with the definition of rookie on it because could you imagine if there was a guy up for the Calder Trophy with like Matthew Barzal, and then Barzal wore a shirt with the definition of rookie because the guy who was also nominated played 24 games the year before and not the full 25? Like, how great would that be?
Hey, man, I'm all for the drama.
Of course, in hockey, you'd have the unwritten rules enforced of, he played 24 games last year, so he's not really a rookie, which is what happened when Couture didn't win it over Skinner.
Chris Kreider's rookie year was 13-14, and he had played in the 11-12 playoffs and for some of the 12-13 season.
Yeah, right.
He wasn't a rookie.
He's the most extreme example, for sure.
A little. But actually de-stressed with some Zen gardening.
Chris Kreider. It's a great hockey name.
Yeah, Chris Conall is a great hockey player.
You see that tweet going viral today about like, this is your hockey nickname, and there were all these snarky responses of like, what about just adding a Y or an ER to the end of your last name? Like,
yeah.
All right, so we're at commercial break, the last commercial break of the period. Capitals have a 3-1 lead, kind of getting dominated territorially here. They've taken advantage of some good bounces. I guess this is a long way of saying it's only been 1.5 games basically, but are we starting to see some regression from Marc-Andre Fleury, perhaps?
I think a little bit. I mean, that's what happens when you save. You had a 948 save percentage going into the series. Even after game one, it dropped down to 952, or 942, excuse me. He got bailed out in game one a little bit, if you will. I mean, both goalies weren't great. Marcus is, let's say this pace goes. What if the Caps win 4 straight games here? Would Marc-Andre Fleury still win the Conn Smythe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. He'd have to be abominable in the next.
Yeah,
he'd have to get pulled in one of the next 3 games, and even then, like, keep in mind, coming into tonight, he had a 5-on-5 save percentage of 96. He stopped 96% of the 5-on-5 shots he faced. Like, that's a joke. And I think where you're really seeing where he's really due to regress is, his medium danger is pretty well within his career averages. He stopped 98.7% of the low danger shots. Like, I don't know his career average, but that seems a bit outlierish. The definite outlier though is his 92.98% high danger save percentage chance.
Folks, I mean, anybody who's north of 80 is incredible. So I just want to put that in perspective. If you have an 83% high danger save percentage, you are a very good goalie. And
92, his high danger save percentage would be a very good even strength save percentage across all shot types.
Penalty coming here against somebody, Chris Rooney.
More fuel to the fire, but Matt Murray let in about 5 more 5-on-5 goals than an average goalie would have this postseason. Marc-Andre Fleury has saved nearly 14. Although Hope's catching up, 6.1 goals saved above average, according to the great Corsica Hockey, which gotta give Corsica some props. They redid some of the interface. It is a massive upgrade.
I haven't been on it in about a while, I gotta be honest.
You should check it right now. Check either player stats or goalie stats.
I'm gonna go check it out right now.
It's nice and speedy. Across all situations, Fleury's goals saved above average is 12.96.
Oh yeah, look at this. That's quicker, nice and smooth.
The next closest goalie is 4.49, and that's Holtby this postseason. All right, the real question is this a must-score power play for the Golden Knights?
Listen, the way the Knights can score, I would say no, but I would have to look up the statistics, despite the old stupid hockey terms of, you know, 2-goal lead, the worst goal league in hockey. Oh, there it is. Well, doesn't even matter.
Must score.
I was gonna say it was as close to a must-score power play in the second period as you could have.
God, their power play is deadly.
Quick shot here. Theodore, great screen in front of the net. Alex Buckley and Carlson. Again, they go back to the middle.
God, their puck control is so good. Oh man, was that Schmidt? Oh no, Shea Theodore.
I think he just got screened. I don't think it hit anybody. Just seeing eye shot.
Well, I cannot be right on my score. You still can though at 5-2.
5-2. Yeah, 5-2. Yeah, no, this is that 5-2 in the sense that like the last two might be empty netters, or like one with like 7 minutes to go, and then the fifth one's an empty netter.
It's a smart shot from Theodore too. Just put it on net. Good things happen.
I follow some like goalie or sort of hockey coaching Twitter accounts, which are great here.
Yeah, Holtby had no idea.
Yeah, no, I never saw it. But talk about, you know, just throwing shots in as a defenseman, and even creating space for yourself by having your feet outside the blue line and just kind of throwing it towards the net. I mean, this is a bad penalty by Oshie. PF Nasty still chiming in here. Fun facts about Chuck in Philly yesterday. He's honestly the worst analyst in all of sports, but he's hilarious by being so bad. Yeah, I mean, he's terrible. I was using him as references because he just says outlandish.
But he's outspoken. Like he's outspoken in a way where it's like funny. Whereas I don't think like
the problem is I don't think anybody takes him seriously.
Right.
And so like there's people out there who like value Mike Milbury's hockey opinion.
Yes, there are more people that take what is said on the NHL studio shows seriously than the people who take Inside the NBA seriously.
It's true. And Pies also brought up that PK brought in a bottle of Listerine to a game and people lost their minds.
Yeah, that was a 3-day controversy. That was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I miss PK.
And then it became a thing of, oh, he made it up. It's like, yeah, of course he did. And Sid was like, oh, I don't know. I didn't say that to him. I didn't talk about his breath. I don't know what's going on. That was great. That was just a tremendous.
Uh-oh.
TJ Sturgeon trying to make up for it.
Off the post, 2-on-1.
Hey, Don Cherry apparently asked Gary Bettman about Quebec expansion. Great Deadspin headline. Ryan Colangelo's wife could be the person behind Watergate. Because Philadelphians pronounce water like water.
Is that a Deadspin or an Onion article?
Deadspin.
Wow, it sounds like an Onion article title.
Oh, she apparently could be the one tweeting.
Yeah,
she's got the phone number connected with some of the burner accounts. Period winding down. The Washington Capitals clinging desperately to a lead here. I think we're gonna have to sign off before the third period. Let's get third period predictions and as well as predictions for what the series score will be by the time we reconvene. When are we going to reconvene? Next week, probably Wednesday.
I would like to. We can aim for that.
Let's look up the Stanley Cup Final schedule.
Game 3 is on Saturday. I'm not sure if Game 2 is next Tuesday or not.
Game 4 is Monday. Game 5 is Thursday.
There you go. So maybe next week at some point, or maybe we'll just get a regular talk show in here.
Yeah, that's what I think. We'll do a regular one next time.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a regular
the full game next time around. But we will be back. Oh, I just see in the Verona replay with the post.
Yeah, it was a close one.
Fleury definitely seems to be regressing a little bit here.
Oh, for sure. I still say Vegas 5-2 here. I'll stay with that. And if we're back next week, I still think this
is 5-2 or Vegas 5-2.
Caps 5-2. Sorry, that's what I meant. I still say this series is going 7. I felt pretty confident in that. I think this is it's kind of how it's gonna work here. So
I think regardless, we're gonna record before Game 5, and I think it's gonna be 2-2 at that point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think splits. I think Caps pull this off. I actually think if the Caps pull this off, I say Caps win Game 3. They win 2 in a row,
but they lose Game 4.
They lose Game 4.
I like where your head's at. My head's at the same place.
Just because the Caps will get excited and then they'll be like, "Oh crap," and
then their fans are just going to be, their sphincters are going to be tight,
tight sphincters,
tight to say the least.
Absolutely.
Well, that'll do it for this special watching edition of the Puckleheads. This was fun. It was a nice little experiment. Still kind of figuring out how the best way to do this, but as always, we just enjoy talking hockey with one another, and that's the guiding principle here as always. So until next time, for Conall McNeilis, I'm Marcus White. Will you see you guys on the internet?